Okay. So I keep saying this about authenticity. I keep saying about vulnerability. Okay, this shit is about to get really vulnerable and really authentic. And I feel like I'm going to throw up. I was gagging before. This is what my brain is doing. Just because, so you can actually hear it.
Wank bugger shitting ass head and hole.
Yeah, repetitively. Yeah, exactly. That's Love Actually right there. So I know the thing is just push it and say whatever, and that's what's happening. But this is also about authenticity. And so what that means is that I know it's occurring, like I'm not holding back, and I'm not. What's also true is that's complete and utter bullshit. So how that's bullshit is that I know how to be vulnerable. I'm vulnerable with people all day, every day. I go up to random people in the grocery store and tell them what I hear that they're not saying and ask if they need a hug because their mom passed. I don't know the person. I spent several hours in Venice Beach with a homeless man. I knew we needed to share some things. We sat down and talked. My daughters were patient and sat and listened with me. And it was an amazing exchange. And I realized I had my leg interlocked with his leg. There was no separation. There was no difference between the two of us. And I walk around with the notion that I'm scared that I'm going to be homeless someday. No, my soul is not afraid of that because I would be friends with all the homeless people and I'd probably organize some great event with them. That's the truth. That's what my soul knows. That's not what my mind wants to hear. What my mind also doesn't want to hear is that my gift on this planet, and I've had it since I was a kid, it's not about being a psychic, it's not about being a medium. I don't care about that. It's not a channel. It's when I learn a concept or something comes to me, I go and experiment with it. So while I may go to these seminars or I may read a book or whatever it is, I do them only maybe every 8 to 10 years. I mean, there's huge gaps because I actually take what they give me and then I research it. I put it into action and I study it and I go for it. Because you can't know until you jump in the water and you just dunk yourself in. There's no putting your toes in. There's no sitting on the bridge going, wow, that looks interesting. You have to fucking jump in and just drop and then experiment. If it's not for you, you get out or you get a lot of information from being down in there. So from a very young age, I've had very little context for why we do the things that we do. I knew they said to go to school. I know they say to go to church. I know they said all these things. I've never been comfortable. Never. I don't even get it. What I know is our soul is completely full of information, everything that we ever needed to know. So as a society to make groups and conform and to find people like-minded or at least pretending to be like-minded or look the same as us or whatever, we create these things. And in some places or, things, yeah, it's great to have basic information together. Like, I know 1 + 1 = 2, and I can have that conversation with you because we went to school. But it's a really limited conversation in every way. Oh, so limited. In growing up in church, my struggle was when I had authentic intuition or something that came to me that seemed to far exceed the limited conversation. If I said it, I was reprimanded for it. And so I didn't like to give talks because it stirred people up, and I got a lot of calls in the middle of the night, people that did feel something and wanted to connect because I go up and just share. I knew that something was coming through because they weren't pre-planned, they weren't exactly from the manual, they were from my heart. But I knew the doctor because my dad had me read every book growing up. I gave book reports on them to him. I had to. So I knew the information, but I still just shared from my heart. What happened? I had to start turning in talks 2 weeks in advance so that they could decide whether it was okay. Where I got confused was the attendance was way up and people that hadn't been coming were coming. Because I was being honest. And that's what people want. And that's what I feel like I've been trying to give, like a connection, being vulnerable. And like I said, I can do that all day. And I think because I believe the universe is kind, my mind needed to see that I could be vulnerable in front of you when I don't have it all together. And what I mean by that is, now I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, this is happening. Fuck! All right, here's a corner of this floor. Okay, there's just stuff there. That's a moving blanket from when I moved in, like 8 months ago. This is a desk that I just put up here, full of crap. Floor, junk I haven't thrown away. I don't even know what's getting on camera. I don't even care. Here's the stuff for the Goodwill. It's not doing much goodwill because it's just sitting there. There's my room. I just actually gave myself a bed recently. There's all the stuff from the seminar I went to, all my clothes I threw on there. There's a boot. Yeah, don't you just want to come snuggle up in there with me? I don't even want to snuggle in there with me. There's stuff that I don't buy anything to put up for. Okay, so why am I showing that to you? Because how horrifying. All right, so the reason those piles sit there is because my mind has told me that I can't share who I really am until I have that all in order, till I'm look a certain way. I can't share what I know. That's not true, but those sit there just like me holding on to an identity of who I can and cannot be sits there. And I fight and I fight and I fight. And I literally do not share with people because those things are sitting that way in my home. I have a list like, well, once my garage is whatever, then, like there's been this picture of how I'm supposed to be. And just like how it didn't fit in school, I left school at 16. I ditched it all the time. To go have fun? No, didn't really have very many friends. I went to the library and studied what called to my heart. I would hide in my room and sew. In fact, I would take books and memorize things out of them. I'd take the alphabet, memorize it backwards. That was the first thing I did when I ditched, I think, in like 2nd grade and played sick. So my heart, my soul, my calling, whatever it is, it's just something it's wanted to say for a long time. And they're the things that I share with my family because I'm excited. Some of them, not all of them, I don't feel comfortable to share with all of them. Because they get a glazed over look like, whatever. Or I don't even know what it is. But the glazed look is there, or the uncomfortable feeling. So it's not for them, that's fine. And I think I said something about life coaching or coaching yesterday. Yeah, I'm not a coach. Don't want to be a coach. So my mind has been trying to look for a label and a place that it can make sense of what this is inside of me. There's not going to be a label. And I think the best description I can come up with is I'm an investigative reporter of what it means to be a human and have a soul that is so much bigger. And how do we do that and feel free? So what I realized is these are evolving videos, and because there's not a point to them other than me being free, and then if you get something great, that works. But I also feel like it's very easy to not be controversial and not stick my neck out. Here's the problem with that. Even the seminars I go to, my soul takes just the basics and then holds off like the horse that you're on that doesn't stay with the group and just starts writing. I get all these images, I get physical sensations, I get pictures. I don't actually stay where I am. It shoots way out there within minutes, and then all of a sudden I have this way to communicate it. So what happens? I end up on the stage with whoever's leading. And these can be the most famous people, and they have me in the back working with a group, maybe psychiatrists or whatever it is, because there's a forward way to explain it. And for me not to share that with people is making me nuts. And I probably look totally fucking crazy on here, and I don't care. Well, my soul doesn't care. My mind's like, shut up, shut up, shut up, bugger, wanker, whatever. So I think the universe was kind because it let me move into this. The last 2 days, I felt like the same kind of information wasn't flowing through. I felt like, yeah, I shared, but I wasn't sharing what I know. So I had something so here's the other thing, is my mind kept saying, well, you can't share all of it because that's going to have to be in the book. That's hoarding information. There's no lack of information in the universe. None. And as long as I hoard information about what I know and what I have the gift or the responsibility or the calling, or I don't care what you call it. I don't even like labels. They don't make sense to me. We just are. It's just I. It's not even I am. I am this, I am that. No, you're not. That's an adjective that's going to describe something. But you're also the flip side. You're right smack in the middle. I. When you say I am strong, that's to compensate for I am weak. When I am weak means the flip side. It's just, you're not. You're the expansive whole of it all. And the mind thinks that is the worst. There's nowhere for it to be something or be somebody. And I love it because it helps me drive the car. The other thing I'm realizing is yesterday I signed up for a class to go to the Apple Store tonight to learn about videos because I don't like how long it's taking to upload and this and that. And then this morning I heard, bullshit, that's someone else's job. That's someone else's job. Yes, I like to learn the technical things and stuff, but when I sit and take all that time to learn it, when that's someone else's job, that's their gift, that's what they're here to do, I'm stealing from people by not giving what there is for me to do when I'm sitting there for 6 hours in front of a computer to upload a video. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to the class. I'm going to keep writing the book. And I actually had to start over on the book because I got a message from a girl, a teen, that was saying how much these videos meant to her, and what she was learning, and how she couldn't wait to read the book. I went, oh, that's so nice. Oh. And they went, oh my gosh. What if this is the one book I ever write? Is what I'm writing the best I have? Is it all I have? Am I putting it all out there? Because I could drop dead the second after. I'm very keenly aware that every breath is not a given. If there's any gift that I got from my sister passing like that, there's no guarantees, and I better get my shit going. So I'm going to let someone else do the lifting when it comes to getting the stuff out there. And I'm just going to keep dumping it out there, and I may look mad, may look crazy. But one thing this has helped me do was to see I am one of the mad ones, and that's okay, because that's the company I prefer. And what I love as well is the people that I've shared, the experiences that I've had, it changes them. They can be in this new space and this new understanding of what's possible on this planet and what's possible with each other. And anything that's referencing the past that I'm talking about for my life or whatever, that's not going to forward anything. It's fine. It's things I've needed to grieve and sit and feel. But it's not what my gift is or what its purpose is. It's just not. All of you can open a camera and you can be present with people. All of you can get on here and you can be vulnerable. And you can tell things that have happened in your life. And if that's the furthest you ever go, that's where you're meant to go. That's not where I'm meant to stay. I have way too much other stuff in here. Stuff that may piss people off, that may whatever. And I get it is not for them. It's just not. And how uncomfortable does my mind get? In fact, I stopped going to seminars because I didn't like leaders asking me questions. It made me uncomfortable because I thought, well, I came here to learn stuff or to know stuff or whatever. Or I didn't like that half the group would turn and go, well, what do you think? Or the leader say, I want her to explain it or whatever. And that was fine. It's something I needed to see. But that is why someone like me, it's not, when I say I feel lost, it's because I haven't had a place to express it, or I've been too scared to name it, or because I don't even think it has a name. And I love that. Like, I love that I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. Because then there's just space for everything. I never thought I would go show anyone that room. And if anything is, it's either immaculate or it's that. And so often when I get this way and I really share what I can share, people love it, or people go, it doesn't look balanced, it doesn't feel balanced, it just, uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable because they haven't stepped into their calling. And that's not my job to fix it. And everyone moves at their own space, and I think it's all in a divine order. It just happened to go somewhere that the person that was sharing didn't have to know what they were saying. There was no dialogue prepared. It just came out. And in the last 2 days, everything that I've had come through me, they've made a video about within a couple hours. And it's verbatim. And I just know I'm stepping into where my soul wants to go. And I'm literally on for the ride. I'm just going to be the one talking about it. So if we want to have vulnerability, it's not just about crying. It's about owning that you're hiding. I've been hiding for 45 years. I don't hide from my kids and maybe a few other people. And I don't even hide from strangers. I go share this weird stuff with them. You know, it's not weird, but you get the point. Okay, so I'm going to go upload this. It's going to take a couple hours, but I have some kids starting to do that for me because I hired them. And I love you guys, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I love it.